Make it proper. Start with a thumbs up. Get things rolling. Hit that sub if you hadn't already done so. Suscrite. Subscribe. Pushing 2,000. As soon as I get to 2,000, the first person that rolls up and introduces themselves to me as a friend from the channel, I'm buying you a drink. I don't do it for the free drinks, but I do it for the love. I do it for those that tell me I'm doing good shit. Those guys like you are the reason I keep going with this. Stay tuned. I would like to talk to you, ricotorodrpr. Talk to y'all from the yard. From the yard. Because it might be last time making a video from this yard, as I believe I'm moving around February 1st. So there'll be other videos, just probably not from the yard. So anyways, little quick update. People are coming back. The commuters, some of the out of town San Domingo, Santiago areas in between, further and beyond, they've been coming back after their holiday break. So it's good stuff. Just kind of started this weekend. I know the flight situation is still kind of a hot mess. You know, there's a whole lot of mixing and matching people are having to do with the, you know, because of the prices and the days that flights are flying into various airports, come into Santiago on a Tuesday, but can't go to Puerto Plata except on Saturday. You know, this airline's doing this airline's doing that, or have to go to Santo Domingo on a Sunday and come up from there. And, you know, I know there's a lot of confusion, a lot of mess going on. You know, all I can say is I know that you don't need a shot to come into Dominican Republic. They may ask you if you have one, or may ask you to take a test randomly. It's kind of random at the airport, but you know, there's no such shot required to enter the country. However, as always, do your due diligence and plan accordingly. So, a couple issues to talk about today. So, these are some things to stop doing or minimize doing with guys and to girls you don't really know well. You know, you run your mouth too much sometimes to guys, girls, about guys, girls, show too many pictures or whatever. You know, you might get your feelings hurt, or you might lose a friend, might cost you a friend in the process, or whatever. You know, I mean, it applies mostly to guys that either live here, or they stay long term, or they have been coming frequently for some years. But you know, sometimes we all need certain reminders how to handle our business. You know, so the other day, you know, I'm hearing from a friend that this brother comes to him and is like, hey, look at this chick. It's like my main one. Showing him a picture. And his response was, oh yeah, that chick, you know, I've known her a while. She was my main girl for a long time. You know, could be a year, could be 5 years. He's like, that chick used to lick my feet while I made breakfast. You know, I used to lick her booty while she made dinner. I used to spin her on the chandelier when I had nothing else to do, and she would juggle, apples at the same time. So, rawing her up, licking her down, years plus, was doing all that to her. Well, how's she treating you, bruh? So, that may not have been the response the guy was looking for by showing the picture. He might have just been looking for the guy to say, oh, she's a good one. Yeah, she looks special to me. She's fine. Fine like yesterday's wine. So, thing is, you go showing the pictures, you go showing things, you go dropping the names. You got to be prepared for the response sometimes. Especially like if you're not that tight with someone. If you're vaguely familiar with them, y'all are cool, but more of a associate, casual friend than just, friends, like real bros. So, that's a thing, and it's like I got forwarded a voice message one day, and a friend was asking me to translate it, and he's like, "What is this? This chick's calling me ugly or something." And I said, basically, she's saying, "You're an asshole, a palomo," and I agree, because you passed her number to one of your boys, without letting her know, and he happened to hit her up and was kind of disrespectful to her, rubbed her the wrong way, pissed her off. So you're an asshole, and and he's like, well, and he was kind of like, yeah, I should have thought about that or whatever. But problem is like that dude, and I consider him a friend, known him a while, and I know his patterns, his habits. See that dude, he does that often. Him and his little, some of the clique that he typically hangs out with. I don't roll with a lot of some of the other people he hangs with, but they do stuff like that all the time. They think it's normal, and just like anything goes, wild, wild west. And it's one thing. If these are just sort of like, if you're just dealing with chicks like one and done, have your fun, move on. But it's another thing if you have something, you're seeing somebody like on an ongoing basis, like a repeat basis over time. There's rules and codes that apply. I hate to be redundant, but there's the bros before hoes, and all that. But in this case, just the way, he messed things up or made them awkward for himself with that chick, and maybe by passing her numbers, his way of saying he's finished with her. But if that's not his intention, she may not want to deal with him anymore, because she sees that he's like a, what they call chismoso or hablador, like somebody that gossips too much, chatty patty too much, just putting her out there like that. And whereas you're not always doing somebody a favor when you think you're hooking them up or something. Sometimes you're doing yourself, whether you're doing them a favor or not, sometimes you're doing yourself a disservice, if that makes sense. And then other thing is, like I say, where some things can cost you a friendship. I've said before, Like guys that I consider friends, you know. Yeah, we're human. We make mistakes. You know, but we respect ourselves and each other first. You know, we expect, you know, hoes to be hoes. But you know, we expect bros to be bros before hoes. So, you know, situation, let's just say, I'll summarize. Let's just say there's somebody that for a short time in country, you know, they befriend Rico.toro. And Rico tries to show them around, introduces them to some people, and then the guy's like, you know, sees a chick that maybe is one that Rico.toro deals with, and he makes a move on her, drops Rico.toro's name. And the girl's like, oh, no, I'm not fucking with you. Rico is my guy. He's one of my guys, and I don't know you. Get away from me. So had he kept his mouth shut, she would have made money. He would have had a good experience. But because he felt the need to talk and name drop, you know, he messed up what could have been a good night for both of them. And I wouldn't have really gave a shit. I would have, if I would have found out that he targeted her, you know, one of mine, knowing she's one of mine. Yeah, that is a kind of a problem, because typically me and my friends don't target like that. Because, like I say, it's one thing if someone is a one and done, but it's another thing if, you know, it's someone you've known like 3, 4, 5, 17, 2 years, and put in your own work to get them to where you're smashing it a certain way, you know, hanging from the monkey bars, beating it like yesterday's laundry, holding them by the ankles, dangling them over the balcony when you're hitting it, you know. Just saying, you got to get creative sometimes. So, you know, it's one thing if some one and done, you know. But so this dude asked me if I know a particular chick one day, and I'm like, yes. I explained exactly real quick the history, and said I'm not getting in the way of nobody's happiness or money, but there's certain things friends of mine will do, certain things, you know, friends won't do. If you unknowingly do something, if you unknowingly step on something of mine, you get a pass. But if I barely know you, we're not that tight, you bring nothing to the table, and you go back for more, we can't be friends. And then, you know, and then on top of that, you know, people that go around like, you know, there's people that go around and, you know, they say blah, 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 blah. Please don't tell Rico. Blah, 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 blah. Please don't tell Rico. Guess what? They tell Rico, because these weaselly, schemish types, they're having these conversations with people that I've known a lot longer than him. You know, so, and they have nothing to gain you know, by telling me or not telling me, but they're loyal enough to tell me, you know, that somebody's just like acting real sneaky and weaselly. So, you know, when I'm, you know, Rico.toro's a fairly forgiving guy, you know, to like, if we're already tight, you know, somebody steps on something, we're already tight and known them a while. You know, we've had solid friendship over time, and, you know, they bring some value to my life. You know, I'm like, one of the most forgiving people there are. But when you're that type, you don't offer shit, you don't get shit, except shit, if that makes sense. So that's how basically that went down. It's like, dude would have just shut up about it at some point. I would have basically looked past at some point, but he keeps talking about the girl, keeps throwing my name in there, and don't tell me. Guess what? They keep telling me. So, anyways, another little thing. This is one of the things I know happens a lot with the newbies. You're staying at New Garden or Casa Valeria or Sosua Inn, and you might be just coming down a couple times a year, short vacation, having a blast, doing your thing, dancing a lot, loving a lot, wrestling a lot, doing a lot of gymnastics, a lot of cardio, getting it in when you can. And you got this guy, you chopped it up a little bit with breakfast, maybe. You're not really that tight, don't know the dude that well. And he's walking the girl, he's done with a young lady, walking her out to get her ID or something. And before she even has the ID fully in her hands, you're tapping the dude on the shoulder like, hey, can I get her number? What's her name? Whatever. Well, here's the thing. If you don't know that dude like that, you don't know that girl. He might have known that girl like 2 years, 5 years. He might have been putting a lot of work in or whatever. Now, he's expecting her to go out that gate and do whatever she's going to do next, right? But without his help, And just like if you want to lurk in the shadows and wait for her to leave the gate and go chase her down and scoop her up, by all means, at that point, she's free, fair game. But to try to piggyback right off that dude that you barely know, right in front of the girl or whatever, you may not give a damn. Your GAF level, the GAF, the give a fuck level, might be real low. But I said before, get your own. Well, none of them are our own, but get your own. You know what I mean? You don't got to piggyback off somebody else like that. Go, let them handle their thing. There's some girls I know that if you do that, if you come at them like that, or they'll be like, basically out of respect for the guy that they are with in those departing moments, they'll tell the dude like, I don't play that shit, get to stepping. Don't come at me like that. I haven't even left here yet. Catch me when I'm by myself. And so it's just code, bro. Bros before hoes. I know it's cliche, but that's what it is. It's all respect. So be careful. Be careful what you share. Be careful with the name dropping. Move correctly, swiftly, respectfully, smartly. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Pushing 2,000 subs. When I get to 2,000, whoever comes and introduces themselves to me as a friend of the channel on the ground here, I'm buying you a drink.